All right, go ahead and roll for perception.
I got a 13.
Hey, that's pretty good. With that, you can tell there's some fantasy situations going on. You hear some adult language, and with that, you can tell this podcast probably isn't for kids.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dungeoncast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Will.
This is the podcast where we talk about everything Dungeons & Dragons, from terrifying turtles to tumultuous traders. And today, we're talking about the Tabaxi.
The Dungeoncast. All right, Brian.
Will, I'll write you. I've always wanted to be Catwoman.
Oh, well, now you'll get the chance. Kind of, I guess. Catwoman's not really actually feline. She just has feline-like abilities.
What about the Tim Burton one where she gets Spider-Man style bit by cats or whatever it was?
I never saw that movie.
Okay, so she fell out of a window a bunch of stories and hit the ground, and then a bunch of cats swarmed her and started licking her wounds,
That's
and then
so
she's
weird.
like, "I'm a fucking cat now."
So weird. There's no mystical qualities.
I'm gonna go
Catwoman's
rob a
abilities
bank
in the comics. Why? Stop ruining her.
She just wants to wear leather.
Okay.
She's like a bad furry.
Okay. Let's talk about Dungeons & Dragons. Okay. All right. So Tabaxi is a race that's available in Volo's Guide to Monsters, and for me it was a new one. I think for a lot of people it was because it's been a while since Tabaxi have really seen any screen time when it comes to Dungeons & Dragons.
Okay, so this is something from an older edition.
Yeah, it looked like it was an available monster in first and second edition.
Okay,
and not only has it not been around since second edition in D&D mechanics, but it's actually a Forgotten Realms specific thing, as far as I could tell. So this is a Forgotten Realms specific race. And on top of it, it's a very esoteric and unknown exotic race that wouldn't be in any given player's handbook. Or
yeah,
like that.
I get I don't know. I get a bobcat kind of feel, they're mountainy, or
okay.
Is this more like a jungle, tropical?
It's very
thing?
much more of a jungle thing.
Okay.
So let's talk about who and what the Tabaxi are. The Tabaxi are a feline-like humanoid race. They're basically cat people. Anyone who's played Skyrim, they look a lot like the Khajiit, which are basically cat people. They're taller and slenderer of build than humans, about 6 to 7 feet tall. They're usually covered in spotted or striped fur. It's usually flavored as like a jungle cat. Usually a tiger, jaguar, leopard kind of feel.
Yeah, that kind of the fur is coated that way.
Exactly, and that's where they tend to live. In Forgotten Realms, they hail from a region called Mestika, which is very tropical, deep jungle kind of.
I see. Okay.
I think it's far to the west of the main continent of Faerun, but I'm not so familiar with Forgotten Realms that I can...
I mean, I know it's called Faerun, but other than that, dude, I don't get any Forgotten Realms stuff other than what
Forgotten
we're
Realms,
talking about.
I believe, and I'm sure the comments will correct me, I believe that the world is called Toril, and the main continent that a lot, the Sword Coast and all that, is on Faerun.
Yeah. Okay.
And
wait, the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide is actually... The Sword Coast.
Oh yeah,
we've probably
Realms?
talked about that's ringing the bell. We've talked about that
exactly.
on the show. Okay.
Sword Coast is kind of where all the Water Deep and Neverwinter and all the big cities, Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. I just thought it was a play on Wizards of the Coast. Is it not?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not.
It.
Anyways, Mestika I think is far across the sea to the west. I might be wrong on that. I'm sure I'll get corrected if I am. So back to the Tabaxi. They have cattails. They have retractable claws. They're usually very competent, extremely competent swimmers and climbers.
Okay.
And I think that reflects with jungle cats. Tigers and jaguars are exceptional swimmers.
Yeah, I've seen jungle cat jump into a swamp kind of thing and kill an alligator and take it for dinner.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly that.
Just dragged it out of the water. I'm like, dude, you gotta be strong as fuck.
Yeah, very strong and incredibly good swimmer. I believe tigers and jaguars actually really enjoy being in water. So
okay,
yeah, I think this follows.
It's not like your average house cat. Don't like water.
But like
that's a stereotype.
But like your average house cat, they are noted to have exceptional balance, sight, and smell, just like any cat.
Grace,
yeah, grace,
very
the graceful
creatures.
Cat, indeed. I think that reflavoring these to desert cats is pretty easy. Kind of how you said bobcat,
oh yeah, okay,
a lynx or
yeah, a snow leopard or something
savannah
like
cat,
that.
something like that.
Oh man,
snow leopard would be dope.
You could have a bunch of
snow
stuff.
Leopards.
Pretty much go look at a National Geographic about cats.
Snow leopard is actually my favorite animal. So when you said that, I was very happy.
That's your favorite animal?
That's my absolute favorite animal. Yeah,
that's a snow animal. Mine's the polar bear.
Oh,
also a snow animal.
It is.
They're dying. They're all dying.
Yeah. Don't bring the podcast down, Brian. Let's move it on. But yeah, you're right. It's
I don't
really
think
sad.
well, in your D&D campaign, global warming doesn't have to exist.
Indeed it doesn't. So generally speaking, the Tabaxi population is incredibly reclusive and isolationalist. About 90% of them are strictly so.
Like hobgoblins.
Hobgoblins are not reclusive or isolationalist.
Yeah, they totally they prefer. You told me in that
They prefer
episode.
out of the way areas. But
Yeah.
okay.
So this is more. You're
This
going
is
more extreme than that.
Like, I wouldn't call that isolationalist. They just like they just move a little bit away,
Okay,
so they
I
don't
got-
have to deal
I
with
got
the
you.
problems. But
I
they
got
still
you.
put up trade posts and stuff.
Yeah.
No, to the
this
back,
is more like I can climb this like dangerous ass mountain. We're gonna go live up there.
kind of yeah. I
Okay.
would say so. I think this is more along the lines of like society is over here. So we're going to be across the ocean and deep into this jungle that no one actually knows about.
Oh,
That's
like
how,
that.
like that.
Okay.
Um,
so that's why they don't show up.
Yeah,
in
they
campaigns a
dwell
lot.
in the far-flung regions from an elves, and they're so isolationalist. In fact, they don't even trade with each other.
Oh, fuck.
And we'll get into like how the society divides itself up.
I keep like okay. So I've noticed so the Furbolg was an old. Like what second edition thing also or
No,
I think that was the first
it's
edition.
been consistent in every edition. It's been there except for fourth. Furbolgs weren't in fourth.
They're just like fuck that.
But the Furbolg in fifth is completely and utterly different from the Furbolgs previously.
They were writing too much Raven Queen stuff. They were like, oh fuck, we forgot the Furbolg.
I guess
Welcome to 5e, everybody.
welcome to 5e. Furbolgs are back.
So is a lot of the Volo's Guide races like old throwbacks like that?
Let's see here.
Because it's a throwback, really.
Yeah, it is definitely.
Okay.
There's Tabaxi and there's Furbolg. Lizard folk are not a throwback. Goliaths are not a throwback. I'm not actually too sure about Tritons. I think Tritons again are very Forgotten Realms specific.
Okay.
And that's the thing about Volo's Guide, and a lot of what's coming out in 5e is
Forgotten Realms is the
very
setting.
Forgotten Realms specific.
Okay.
But yeah, like I think Tabaxi is the first race we've talked about that is strictly Forgotten Realms specific, though.
Okay, that's interesting.
Tritons might be the next. I'll have to look into that. I don't actually
So
know.
you're saying they don't trade with even each other?
No, they don't. So the way that Tabaxi live is they tend to organize themselves in what are called clans, about 15 to 40ish members. They're a very tribal society. They're
That's kind of
hunter
like
gatherer.
Goliaths a little bit, aren't they? In
I guess
those
so.
kind of numbers?
Yeah, about that same size.
Okay.
And I guess there's a lot of similarities there because hunter gatherer.
Mm-hmm.
So also the clans divide themselves into subgroups called hunts. The clan is made up of the youth, which and there'll be anywhere from like 2 to a dozen youngsters.
Okay.
A few elderly, with the eldest being the person in charge, and then the different hunts. And a hunt is a group of Tabaxi, adult Tabaxi, about 2 to 8 members.
Okay.
And they're basically a tribal warrior group that kind of hunts and gathers together. And they're just like a unit. They're just a squad that works together, and they work together their whole lives.
So there's multiple hunts.
Yeah, multiple
within
hunts make up a clan.
Okay,
So,
cool.
Yeah, until you got anywhere from 15 to maybe 50-ish members.
So that's like lionesses going out and like
Exactly. That's exactly
fucking
what
up
that's
some
like.
giraffes or whatever.
Very, very much so.
Okay.
And, they have their own carved out territory in the jungle, and different clans don't communicate very much.
Okay. Yeah, it's
they
like
don't even trade with each other.
oh that I've smelled this piss before. That's that's that other clan. We should hunt elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And the reason that they don't trade even with each other is for some reason they find it to be a demeaning act. I think it's because they're cats. Cats are hunters. They provide for themselves.
Okay.
So if you're having to trade, it makes you seem weak, maybe.
Like I'm super solo until I want pets. But I only want pets until I say I don't anymore.
Right,
And
exactly.
sometimes I act like I want pets, and when you give me pets, I fuck you up by biting the shit out of your hand.
Yeah, that.
If they actually, that would be the actual. So that would be my like.
Your interpretation.
So my Tabaxi is part of this clan, and
Yeah.
it finds like a rune on accident and gets fucking teleported to fucking the Sword Coast or whatever.
Right.
And it's like, what do I do? And then it finds a group of adventurers to try and get back home.
Okay, well, let's talk about. I like that idea a lot, actually, because
Well,
it's
thank you.
similar to an idea that I have, which I'll get into later. But let's talk about adventuring Tabaxi, because I feel like the rest of the world that doesn't know too much about Tabaxi has probably a very different view on the Tabaxi people than what is the actual truth, which is what I just told you. Because of this, so the Tabaxi have a divine figure who's known as the Cat Lord. Not a very creative name. He's also not a very important deity.
Damn, that. Okay.
Uh,
Hit me with it.
So the Cat Lord grants each Tabaxi each individual tabaxi with a specific feline trait. And
Okay, I'm going to stop you. Yeah. Remember how last episode I went off about like absorbent names and stuff like that?
On the other end.
This is too far the other way, guys.
Yeah.
The cat lord.
Yeah. He's the cat guy.
It is I, cat lord. What's good? He's like eating Cheetos, he's sitting on a couch.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Sorry, did you pray? I missed it.
So the cat lord,
okay.
He grants each individual tabaxi with a specific feline trait. He basically dials that trait to 100.
He's cat lord.
So he fucks with people's personalities, if you will. So to a certain subsect of tabaxi, maybe 1 out of 100, maybe 1 out of 1,000, he grants the gift of curiosity. This will drastically change the personality of the tabaxi.
Right. The ever famous cat killer. Curiosity.
Yeah, exactly. Those given this trait find themselves stricken with a wanderlust and compelled to venture out into the world in search of stories, artifacts, lore, and
okay.
And they just want to explore, and they want to know, and they want to know, and they want to explore.
I'm on the fence about this whole situation, but I do appreciate the fact that they're like trying to help you like justify adventuring.
Exactly.
At least you tried.
Which for me, what it makes me want to do is the exact opposite. I want to play a tabaxi who was forced to go out into the world, and he just wants to go home.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to know anything about anything.
And Cat Lord is like, you have to find me a new bag of Cheetos.
Oh, yeah, that. The Cheeto MacGuffin. So this curiosity leads them to searching out and acquiring ancient artifacts, magic items. But it's the knowledge and the stories that are important to them. It's what they feel they've gained. And basically, by the end of their lives, they end up returning home with all these actual stories and all this actual knowledge that they gained throughout all their wanderings. And that's kind of the very limited way that tabaxi keep tab on what's going on in the outside world.
Okay, so that guy gets back and they just like fucking knowledge vomit all over the clan.
Basically, which doesn't seem like a very
I have to tell you about
way.
the world. Yeah, there's information loss, like the game telephone.
Right,
like,
exactly.
You're gonna miss out some key details that like got like just mixed up in the fray.
Yeah,
you know I'm going with Cheetos, right?
Yes, I know you're going with Cheetos.
On the back.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a cat lord.
Let's take a short rest.
Let's do it. Hey everybody, welcome to the part of the episode where we're not talking about the cats. We're talking about you cats. What's up? What's up, everybody? It's good.
Hey.
Well, I can't interact. This is a one-way interaction. So hi, if you were here, I'd tell you something cool about you. But the only thing cool I can tell you about right now is like you're hearing my voice, and I think that's fucking cool.
Indeed.
And we appreciate it.
Indeed.
And we love you.
Indeed.
So thanks for listening to the show. We really do appreciate it. And there's a few people out there we fucking also really appreciate. Their names are Alfonso Fernandez, Nicola LaBelle, Anthony Matarelliano. Nice. What do you think of that?
I think you got it.
Jason got it in one, maybe. Jason Gilroy and Miss Mellaby. Thank you guys so much for supporting us on Patreon. It means a lot to us. Thank you very much. So this is your shout out, and I hope that you guys are enjoying any of the bonus content that is available to you. As we've had a range of payments come in, we really, really appreciate it. Like you guys are making the show possible and making the stuff we do on Patreon possible. Without you guys, we'd be nothing.
Yeah, we seriously can't thank you enough. So I want to say thank you to each and every one of you.
And thank you, all of you who have been participating in the new contest, subscribing on YouTube, and liking and commenting on that video, and also hitting us up on Twitter with a link to the show. Basically, we run these contests so we can get the word out about the show because we want more people to listen that like D&D. Yeah. We like all of you. We hope you like us. It seems like you do. Yeah. Tell your friends, please. Tell somebody about the show. We'd really, really appreciate that too. That's really what helps us the most is you guys just talking about the show and getting your friends or whoever your enemies to listen. It doesn't matter who they are as long as they're tuning in.
Yeah. Speaking of the contest, for those of you who don't know, we are running 2 different contests. Both of them, we're giving away a copy of Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. On Twitter, the contest that we're running is if you share a link to an episode of our show, whether that be the audio podcast or an episode on the YouTube channel with the hashtag Dungeoncast from now till May 29th, you'll be entered in the contest to win a copy of the book. And the other contest we're running for the same book is on YouTube. We actually have a video called Our Mordenkainen's Tomofo's Giveaway. And all you got to do to enter that contest is go ahead and check out the vid, like it, subscribe to our channel, and then leave a comment below stating what you are most excited to see in the upcoming book. And if you do that, you'll be entered into that contest, which again, we're going to be announcing the winners to both contests on May 29th, which is the day the book is released.
Yep. And those winners will get them books. It's been really interesting seeing what you guys are most excited about.
Blood War.
Yeah, it's mostly Blood War.
Blood War.
I understand. I do.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm most excited about the Blood War too.
And Spelljammer. I don't even know what Spelljammer is.
Eladrin too. I'm excited about Eladrin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm not. I was excited about Shatterkai until I found out what they're going with, and I'm less excited. But I still welcome it.
Yeah, I like the idea. I know that like they're going to change a lot of stuff that we've covered, but I kind of like the the flavor options that are going on. It's
absolutely.
Like there's this existing lore and now there's going to be this new lore and it's just more ideas. So
Indeed.
Very good. But yeah, if you want to find a show, we're on soundcloud.com/the Dungeoncast. We are on YouTube. You could just search the Dungeoncast there. Hit us up on Gmail. It's thedungeoncast@gmail.com. Or if you want to check out the stuff on our Patreon, it's patreon.com/thedungeoncast. Also follow us on Twitter for like D&D news and some memes and stuff like that.
Content. Not contest. Polls. I do polls sometimes.
Yeah, about what we want to do for the next upcoming episodes. We hear you, Asmo people. We're working on it.
We are,
and we love you.
Indeed.
So yeah, it's at the Dungeoncast.
Yeah. I guess since we're here, a disclaimer: the reason that Asmo's been postponed, all planar lore and deity lore is going to be postponed until after Mordenkainen's, because there's so much that's going to be changed with that book that I don't want to release a video that I immediately have to do an errata for like immediately. Yeah. We already are going to have to revisit the Raven Queen because they're putting her under such immense change. So
so we'll figure it out. We're gonna do God stuff is coming. Yeah, it's just coming after that book. Yeah, so we're gonna hit the in between stuff. But let's get back to some of that in between stuff. What do you think of that?
Let's get back to the jungles of Mestika.
The jungles of Mestika. Well, from what?
Mestika.
Let's go back
to the show. So let's get back to Tabaxi.
Back to Tabaxi.
They're curious. We talked about that. The Cat Lord made sure that was so.
Wait, they're all curious?
No, just the ones that he so chooses. We're now diving into Adventure at Tabaxi.
Okay, yeah.
And by default, we're going with the curious ones because that's, Anyways, so they're interested in stories. They're interested in lore. They're interested in gossip. They are interested in items, but they're interested in those magic items usually because of the story and lore behind them.
Okay.
They don't actually care about the material wealth, and they don't really care much about material wealth in general at all. They find it to be uninteresting and boring.
Well, by the book standard, isn't it like these magic items are priceless anyway, and there's not really like a monetary value to them because of how...
Well, I mean, priceless just means they're so valuable that they're like,
how
you
could
can't
I put a
attach
price
a number.
on this?
Yeah, but to them, that's not entirely too interesting.
Yeah, it's more like this king had this fucking scepter of destruction and fucking now it's mine.
Yeah, indeed. Except and we'll get into.
Oh yeah, I guess that's interesting. Are they procuring it for themselves?
Okay, so
with
Tabaxi, it's about getting the thing, examining it, like examining every angle of it, holding it in your hands, learning all the lore about it, and once you've absorbed all the information, throwing it over your shoulder and moving on.
Yeah, well,
they're incredibly
only one place for this, the fucking trash.
Yeah, their curiosity is an insatiable desire, but like again, they don't desire the actual material. So
I'm just here to become Wicatpedia.
So they tend to be extremely fickle and mercurial. Like they flit about. Like they Tabaxi might spend an immense amount of time planning out an insane heist, like a 2-month heist, to get to a rich dude's like gemstone that's on display.
So I can see like the engraving of the original person who like carved it out on the bottom. Oh, it is there.
And then once they get it, they'll inspect it. They'll learn all about it. They'll find the inscribing, like you just said, and then they'll use it to pay for passage to the next city and forget about the gem at all.
Holy crap!
That's just that's the nature of their curiosity.
So they are Catwoman, but worse.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, they do make excellent rogues, but Catwoman wants that material wealth. She's kind of about.
She's
that.
selfish.
Yeah, but she's also about the thrill.
The thrill.
So, yeah.
The leather.
Yeah, sure.
Tabaxi in leather armor is basically Catwoman.
So, although the curiosity does lead Tabaxi to become adventurers much of the time,
right?
And it's an easy excuse to be a Tabaxi. It's like, oh, I got struck by this curiosity disease.
Yeah, the fucking cat lord visited me.
It's it's a mental illness. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if they have a name for it. They're like, well,
there should be.
Fucking Jimmy's leaving.
Yeah,
he got the plague. He got the brain plague.
Basically, he got that brain disease.
Hopefully he comes back. I mean, he's going to have some sick stories.
Some go down a different path to satisfy their wanderlust, usually becoming like wandering bards or minstrels, tinkerers or traders.
Fucking cat person bard. That sounds sick.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Wow.
I like the tinkerer trader thing. Again, this reminds me of the Khajiit from Skyrim, because in Skyrim, the Khajiit are like caravanners. They kind of journey around the Empire as merchants, traveling merchants.
I finished pretty much. I mean, does anyone really finish Breath of the Wild? But like, I've pretty much done a bunch of it. So now I'm going to move on to Skyrim, everybody. So get off my case.
I'm so jealous.
Get off
be able to
my
play that
case.
for the first time.
Yeah, it will be my first time.
It's a lot of fun.
And it's going to be on the Nintendo Switch.
That's super sweet.
Yeah.
So before we get into mechanics, do you got any other comments or concerns or questions about these cat people?
I think my remaining questions are mechanic based, because I want to know like what does the book lend to the role play for you? You know what I mean? Like, as far as, I'm sure it's Dex. Are we talking Dex?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So out of all the races in Volo's guide, I think this one's probably the most balanced of the races. It's just
interesting.
Like, I could see,
because Furbolg is like not.
Furbolg has
very
a
powerful
butt ton of freaking abilities.
A butt ton.
Yeah, a butt ton. Lizard folk has a butt ton of abilities and features. It's just ridiculous.
Well,
ASMR or even worse.
ASMR.
Yeah. So
can I ask you what a butt ton is?
it's I don't know. It's a lot.
It's just a lot.
It's just a lot.
Don't
man.
worry about it.
It's unquantifiable.
Oh.
So what I like about the Tabaxi is if you take away the exoticness of, well, it's a cat person, I could see this being in the player's handbook. So let's start from the top. They're going to get a +2 to Dex. I think that was pretty predictable. They're also going to get a +1 to Charisma.
Oh, okay.
And I think this fits specifically for the Curiosity ones, because their curiosity is so strong. They have a very strong like personality and will about like finding these things. They'll do anything for it.
Yeah, I need to find out. So I'll either persuade or intimidate to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, charisma is strange like that, where like
it is.
I either got to do this nice thing or this mean thing.
Yeah,
and both the stat works for both.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I were to play a Tabaxi that didn't have this weird curiosity disease, I would give him a +1 to Wisdom, because they're hunters.
Okay,
and since they're more reclusive and quiet, they're probably less charismatic. No, that's not necessarily so. I'm just saying this is how I would do it. But I could see the reclusive one still being
you're
a
giving
very strong will and having good charisma too.
Yeah, you're taking the curiosity out and you're putting like the nature-y, like wisdom.
Yeah, because theoretically, if the curiosity wasn't injected into you, something else was. And that thing was probably something either athletic or like sensory.
Yeah, I'm like an animal in a jungle. Like I'm gonna have like this like wisdom. Wisdom's a good save for like perception and stuff for the skills.
Yeah.
It's like that makes sense to me.
Yeah. So their size are medium, they're human size. Speed 30 walking speed. I think I would have given them 35 if they're so lithe and their dex is so high.
Yeah, and they're super nimble.
But whatever, it's not really important one way or another. They get dark vision.
Hey,
big surprise.
Whoa.
Okay, so let's get into their actual like unique features.
Wow, dark vision. I'm still stuck on dark vision.
I know, right? So exciting. Their first feature they get is called feline agility.
Okay.
And I'm going to read this verbatim. Your reflexes and agility allow you to move with a burst of speed. When you move on your turn in combat, you can double your speed until the end of your turn. Once you use this trait, you can't use it again until you move 0 feet on one of your other turns, one of your following turns.
So I see where you're talking about balance, because like this addresses the agility of it that a cat
gives you something
should have.
awesome. Gives a takeaway.
Right.
I like that. Mm-hmm. And also, that's really cool. Being able to just move double your speed. That's really nice.
Yeah. Very useful.
The next one is pretty intuitive. Cat claws. Because of your claws, you have a climbing speed of 20 feet, which is nice. In addition, your claws are natural weapons. If you hit with them, you deal slashing damage equal to 1d4 plus your strength mod.
That's kind of like
the dex mod is debatable.
Yeah.
I mean, if a dagger counts as a light weapon, why couldn't your claws? That would be homebrew. Obviously, but it's something I would, if a player approached me with that, I'd be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, why not? That sounds like the lizard folk. Don't they get something similar?
They get a bite.
A bite.
They get a bite. Yeah,
That's a D6
And they can
though,
also
huh?
go into a frenzy and just take a chunk out of a dude.
Oh, and they get heals from
Yeah,
it.
they get heals from it. Yeah.
Lizard folk are cool.
Lizard folk are
This is a
fucking cool.
Tabaxi episode.
It is. The last ability they're going to get is called Cat's Talent, and it's you gain proficiency in perception and stealth skills.
Okay, cool.
I'm not a big fan of getting 2 skills, but I do like that it's not this cheap. Pick 1 from this list or pick 2 from this list. It's you get these 2 because they make sense.
Because you're a fucking cat person.
Indeed,
Get
because you're
over
a
it.
cat person. And then lastly, you can speak Common, write and read Common, and one other language of your choice. That's interesting because in Forgotten Realms, Tabaxi have their own cat language. I don't know if it's called Tabaxi, but I do know it's like their own language of their people.
Cats can't.
Cats can't, yeah. So I think it should say you can read, speak, and write Common, and cats can't, but it doesn't.
Cats can though. Speak it.
Indeed they can.
Right.
So with that being said, that's their mechanics. Obviously, they're gonna make good rogues, good monks.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Dex and charisma, you'll make a good almost anything. You know.
Yeah. I mean, like, those are pretty general.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess the weakest would be for wizard, but Dex isn't bad for a wizard to have. So
It's hard to justify the roleplay wizardry.
well, if you're going with the classic lore, but again, I wouldn't.
Did we get into age? I feel like you know
They live about the same span as humans.
Okay,
I had the same
sure.
question along my notes. I'm like, age was never brought up, and I had to dig deep. I was like, oh, they just live as long as humans. That's why it wasn't brought up.
It's kind of cheap.
I mean, but like, should they live shorter or longer?
I don't know. How long do cats live?
Cats, I think, live anywhere from like 12 to 18 years.
Is that true
18
for
being
big?
extremely long.
Yeah, is that true for big cats too?
I don't know. I don't know the lifespan of a jaguar, Brian. I'm sorry.
Of a jaguar. What about a cheetah?
Or a cheetah.
A cheetah? Okay, so
Oh, do you know that cheetahs outlive dogs? And I know this because at the San Diego Zoo, they have a program for cheetahs where they pair up the cheetahs with dogs.
oh yeah, they're
And
like
they'll be
comfort
life
animals.
companions, and
Yeah.
often the dog will die before the cheetah does. So,
Oh man,
yeah.
that's gotta suck for the cheetah.
Yeah, but then
That's like your anxiety dog.
it is, but they'll get another dog in there. But yeah, I'm sure, just like any intelligent animal, that's a blow. So.
Man, I wonder if that's gone wrong yet. The dog with the cheetah.
I don't think it has. The cheetahs take very easily to the dogs.
That's really cool, man.
Cheetahs have a lot of tendencies that are very canine-like versus being feline-like.
Okay, I see.
But this is not a Planet Earth podcast.
well, no, I was gonna say
Yeah.
like that's some cool thing to take into your role play. Is like I have a pet dog.
yeah. My phone just shut off.
Oh,
we just lost some film, guys. I'm sorry.
that's okay. It's the
But-
end of the episode.
Yeah, it's the end of the episode. What did you say though? I missed what you said.
Oh, about like my role play, like bringing in a
like
my
a
Tabaxi like character has a dog.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm
I
a
like
ranger
that.
or
Yeah,
whatever,
That's
like-
super dope. I like that.
This is my golden retriever, Dan.
Indeed, he's my life companion.
He's my life companion. When I get really nervous and like I socially am inept, like I have this
Your
dog.
He's your companion
Yeah.
animal, literally.
He's my seeing eye dog. I'm
That's
blind.
awesome.
My
Okay.
dark. I only have dark vision. I
Right,
don't have normal vision. I need the dog at daytime.
Indeed.
Yeah, you
I
want to
think
call
we're,
it?
I think we're done with this episode, and I hope it was informative to those of you who are interested in Tabaxi. And we will talk to you guys later.
I was really hyped to do the episode because so many people have asked for this episode. So hey, here it is.
Yep.
Finally,
Yep. You're welcome.
let's call it a game.
All right.
Bye.
The Dungeoncast.
Meow.
Meow.